Welcome. I'm the DeadwoodJedi, and this is going to be part 2 of the Mastery series, where we're talking about the different masteries your champions can take. So today we're going to be talking about the defensive tree. And the defensive tree is one of the most crucial trees that there is. It's really more of an end game one, but it really helps your team survive a lot longer, can give you extra attacks. There's a lot of stuff going in there. There is at least one problematic mastery in there you're going to want to look out for too. So we're going to go in. I'll talk about all the masteries, show you a couple examples, and go from there. Just really quick though, if you watched my previous video, I have one on the offensive tree. I have another one coming out tomorrow on support. So definitely you're going to want to watch all three of those. Hit the notification bell and subscribe. That way you guys are going to know when those videos come out. Makes a huge difference for me, and I really appreciate it. But with that, let's go ahead, and I'll go ahead and start talking about the masteries. Defensive tree is huge, obviously, but yeah, typically you're going to go offense and then defense support. Now, if you're an end game player, you're probably using the defense tree. The defense tree offers a couple unique things, most specifically a chance to counterattack and a chance to remove buffs. But there are a few of the masteries in here you have to be very, very careful of. But starting at the top, you have either resist or you have defense. For us, we're going to go with the defense because that's going to take us down this left side of the tree. And we want to go down this left side for blast proof. This is going to give us AoE protection. Decreases the damage received from AoEs by 5%. That's a passive that Coffin Smasher has, actually. It's a very effective thing to help decrease the damage you take from those AoE strikes. You can also take Rejuvenation, and this increases the amount of healing and the value of shield buffs that this champ receives. That's really good with a Valkyrie. You notice I had that on my Vizier. Rejuvenation is really good for Valkyrie to improve the shields that she's placing on you. It can be really good for the healing aspect as well. You have Bad Alcazar or some other healer, that can definitely be useful. But typically, if you're at the point of needing healing, you're probably not in the best of spots. But, you know, I think that's a very reasonable thing to take. Sustain is as important as damage in a lot of ways. The balance comes in between those two. Now, the other ones on this list, this decreased damage from stun, sleep, fear, true fear, or freeze, only if you already have it. I don't recommend that. We also have improved parry, decreases the damage you receive from a critical hit. That's another option for you, improved parry. I don't necessarily recommend it for clan boss. You're better off going down this route and decreasing the damage from the AoEs typically, but that is a very effective one. The clan boss can crit on you, and reducing that damage is useful. Now, as you go down to the second level, none of these really have any impact on clan boss. The only one that does is this, Resurgent. It gives you a 50% chance to remove one random debuff when you lose 25% HP or more from a single skill. This will happen fairly often, but if you're relying on this to remove debuffs, you're probably doing it wrong. Most affinity debuffs are either not crucial or not. I think, or you're trying to block them or cleanse them anyway. I don't think this is a great way to go about dealing with that. This can have a nice profound effect on champions that tank the stun. So, for example, I used to have Tayrel. Now, Tayrel would be my leader and would take the stun every time. Because Tayrel has a decreased attack on the A1, and that was the skill I needed from him, I didn't bother making him faster or doing anything to avoid the stun. It wasn't important to me. I knew he would be attacking with his A1 enough to keep that debuff on the clan boss the full fight. So for him, putting Resurgent on was great because it basically gave me an extra attack because I didn't bother cleansing it, I didn't bother blocking it, and so if he would lose 25% of his HP and then cleanse the stun, great, he got an extra turn off of it. There's another build I did where I built Alton to go at a 4-3 ratio. It was a takeover, it wasn't my account. Moving Alton at a 4-3 ratio, and then, this is actually the Nizana video I did a while back. Moving Alton at a 4-3 ratio meant that that fourth turn was the turn he was supposed to be stunned. I had baked in the stun into his build. I had baked it into his speed tune. So he needed to get stunned every time in order to keep a consistent tune. I originally had this on him, and it screwed up the run. Because when he cleansed himself, his cooldowns were reduced too early. So you need to be a little bit careful about it. There's some champions that need to take the stun. A great example is Skull Crusher in a tower Skull Crusher Unkillable comp. It's a very popular composition. Well, Skull Crusher is built to take the stun. He's supposed to have his cooldowns reduced. So if you put Resurgent on him and he loses that debuff, it throws off the timing of the entire composition and it falls apart. That's a common mistake people made. So this is, while a very good and powerful ability, great for arena, really good for dungeons, it is excellent for clan boss. But you don't want it if you're baking in a stun on your champion. So you just need to know which champions you're using and which ones you're not, and which ones will need this and which ones it's going to screw up. So keep that in mind. If you don't take that, you can go either way around it. So this is a good one. You heal max HP each time an enemy's healed. It doesn't affect clan boss, but it can be useful outside of it. Heals champion 10% of their max HP when they kill an enemy. Doesn't good for clan boss, but it's great outside of it. This one all the way over here. Place block debuffs on this champion when a stun, fear, true fear, sleep expires. Again, not good for clan boss, but it can be useful outside of it. So basically, if you're going clan boss, you want to go down Resurgent unless it's a problem, and then you just go around it, because the next skill is very crucial on this next level. That's going to be Delayed Death. This reduces the damage this champion receives from a specific enemy by a small, by less than 0.75% each hit taken from that enemy, and it stacks up to 6%. So basically, after, I don't know, a few turns, few rounds, you end up taking 6% less damage. That's pretty powerful. Taking 6% less damage is a pretty powerful ability. You're taking 5% less from the AoEs already. You're already reducing 10% of the damage, 11% of the damage that's being taken. So the defensive tree can be really strong for you. Now, on either side, you're not going to get anything. This increases the resist you have. This places leech if you place one of these debuffs that can't be placed on the clan boss. And this one increases your resist again. So if you're going for clan boss, that's pretty much the only skill. Delay Death is the only skill you want to take there. It's a very good one, though. And then we get to the third level. Now, the third level has a lot of really good stuff in it, so we've got to be smart about what we're taking here. Basically, this is going to be the one you're going to want to take. Retribution. It gives you a chance to counterattack when you lose 25% of your max HP or more. Now, if you run a speed team, if you do not have a counterattacker, this is a must-take. If you do not have a counterattacker, this is a must-take skill. The reason why? It's a free counterattack. And it's 50% chance, so it's not like having a counterattacker in that, and it's guaranteed. But you get a 50% chance to counterattack. That's huge. That's a really big boost to your damage right there. Being able to get that free attack in. You want almost all your champions to have it. It's really good. If you have a stun target, but you can block the stun itself, so they're just taking damage, that's another great skill to have to proc future counterattack. Now, something I've been theorizing with, I think on end game builds, it might actually be better to take a stun. And the reason why is this. Deterrence. Give a 20% chance to counterattack an enemy when they apply a stun, and other skills, debuff on an ally. So, if I have my entire team with that ability, that means I have 4 chances at a 20% proc for counterattacks. I think that's pretty strong. It's a pretty strong ability if I can have somebody take the stun. So that's some extra attacks in there. I mean, you're talking about like edge level stuff, but when you're at the end game, that is what you're talking about, is edge level stuff. But these two are the masteries to take at this level. You want Retribution, that's a really strong one, and you want Deterrence, another really strong one. Now, like, I have Sepulchre Sentinel, so I'm blocking all my debuffs at this point. I don't get stunned. Deterrence is not particularly useful for me in Clan Boss. Super useful everywhere else. Arena is great. Faction War is great. Dungeons even is really good. So I don't mind having it at all. But be aware of that. It's not needed for all Clan Boss teams. You got to know your team, the skills you're using, and then you want to choose the masteries that go with that accordingly. Retribution, I mean, I need this on Sepulchre Sentinel who takes the stun, but I don't necessarily need it on any of my other champions. But I use it. I put it on them because there's times when it does come in handy. Once people start dying and they start taking individual stuns, once Valkyrie's done, I don't have counterattack anymore. That comes in handy. So I like this skill a lot, and regardless, I like the rest of the skills in the defense tree. I think they're very good, very useful for my team. And they help me stay alive a little bit longer, which I think outweighs the benefits from the support tree. But it depends. There's definitely pros and cons on either side, and it depends on the team you run. The last thing I want to point out, so this one's not going to be useful really for you. This one, however, Cycle of Revenge, this is a mastery no-no. For Clan Boss, you got to be real careful taking this. It gives a 50% chance of increasing the turn meter by 15% when an ally is attacked with a critical hit. Well, the Clan Boss makes 5, it's hitting everybody. That's 5 attacks. Someone's going to get crit almost every turn. Making that proc on you, an extra 15% turn meter boost, that can be really problematic for a speed tune. 1, it's inconsistent, so it's not guaranteed. And 2, it's out of the blue. That inconsistency really throws it off. So Cycle of Vengeance, I think it's called? Cycle of Revenge. I highly recommend you avoid that mastery. Well, if you're trying to speed tune, you definitely have to. It's a problematic mastery. It will screw up your tune completely as soon as you have that on. Now, if you're running just a pure speed team, just like go, 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 fast as I can, I'm not trying to tune it, I'm just trying to go, then it's a great mastery. It's fabulous for you. It's going to make you go so much faster. You should definitely take it. But that's the difference. You got to recognize that, right? What kind of team am I running? What kind of results do I want? What am I trying to do? If I'm tuning my team, cannot take that. If I'm not tuning it, but I'm just trying to go fast, that's actually almost an essential skill because you want that turn meter boost. So some things to consider there. All right, so as we look at the defensive tree here, you can see that this is Skull Crusher's build. And this is a pretty traditional Clan Boss build where you go defense to blast proof to resurgent to delay death to retribution to deterrence. Pretty traditional build right there. I can show you my rosin right here. Basically the same exact build. And then you can see went a lot more with the defensive tree because in other content you can place a freeze. I added the one Harvest Despair so he has a chance to place leech. But otherwise a pretty traditional defensive build. In this one you can see I skipped Heart of Glory and I added Rejuvenation to add to the shield that Sepulchre Sentinel gets. And otherwise it's a very traditional defensive build. Well, guys, that was the defensive tree. Hopefully that was pretty informative for you. For myself, forever I was just using the support tree and didn't think the defensive tree had anything to offer. And then once I realized what the defense tree can really bring to your team, it helped my team do a lot more damage, survive a lot longer. So I definitely recommend taking a look at it. It's not for every team, not for every build, but it is something that you want in your tool chest, something that you can break out for the appropriate champion and for the appropriate team. So hopefully this was helpful in letting you know that and figuring out when it's going to be useful for you and for your team. Definitely want that known for you guys. If you guys are still here, subscribe. I mean, clearly you're enjoying something about it. It's probably just a hat. Maybe it's a smile. I don't know, whatever it is. But subscribe. It makes a big difference for me and my content. Click the like button below if you found this video helpful for you. And the notification bell is good to know when the next one comes out, because I do have another one of these coming out tomorrow. We're going to be doing the support tree. I'm really excited about that. That one has a lot of problematic mastery, so you're definitely going to want to pay attention to that. And at the end of this series, I'm going to be posting a huge list of all the different masteries with pictures, so you guys can have an actual written guide on my website there. That should be good for you guys to be able to check out as well. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If it was, leave me a comment below. Let me know. How was this helpful? Was there something I missed? Or something else you guys want to know about? Go ahead and put it down there. I try to answer all those comments as soon as I can. Yeah, I really can't wait to talk to you guys again about this. So, until next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.